Thanks, Andy. And just a couple comments on the management. I actually did get to see and I got my hands on a Flex System Manager when I was in Austin. And having worked with Systems Director, I actually found that Flex System Manager was a lot more intuitive to use. I found it's quite simple to find the things that I wanted to find, which had not always been the case with Systems Director. So I think they've done a really nice job on that. And in terms of the mobile management, I've already talked to some people there about the fact that I'd really like to see some kind of a iPad app or a Google app that allows you to manage it as well, because I think that that's the direction that a lot of us are going, where we don't necessarily carry our laptops around with us, but we'll carry an iPad or some kind of mobile management. So with that said, we're in the home run now, and I want to talk a little about positioning. A couple of things that you do need to know about the PureFlex today. In terms of the current state, we have the P260 and P460 power nodes. We have the X240 and X220 Intel nodes. One comment I want to make on the power nodes is that today, because of how the mezzanines are structured, on the P260, there is one for fiber and one for networking, and those, of course, equate to PCI slots. What that means is that you will have a single VIO server on a P260. That single VIO server can boot from internal disk, or it could boot from SAN. It doesn't really matter. But because there are only the two PCI slots, and one has to be network and one has to be fiber, that's going to provide you with just a single VIO server. On the P460, which is the full width node, you have 4 mezzanine slots, so there's going to be 2 fiber and 2 networking. Therefore, you have the ability to have dual VIO servers. So if dual VIO servers are critical from a power perspective, then you need to make sure that those nodes are the ones that you choose. So for dual VIO server, you need a P460. In terms of standards of direction, IBM has talked about wanting to, in October, they're going to bring out the Flex System storage node, which we believe is going to be a storage node that's going to be 7000 that will go into the chassis. There'll be some additional compute nodes, some additional I/O cards, and a bunch of other offerings. So this is the current state and some of what is coming. In terms of the lineup today, we still have, within the IBM world, we have System X, we have the Blade servers, we have storage, all the different power servers, and of course the mainframes. And then this is really a new platform, which is the Expert Integrated Systems. So where does it fit in? And I get asked this a lot. One of the questions I get asked is, well, isn't it just like another Blade system, but they're horizontal rather than vertical? And how does it differ? And really the real answer is that in the level of integration that is built in, and additionally the fact, as you saw, that when nodes communicate with each other, they do so within the chassis. So it's really the real big thing in terms of performance is going to be getting rid of that north-south problem if you do proper planning. So when we look at where the PureFlex systems really fit in, if I think about Power Blades and even my power servers, pretty much the 16-core and below range is really where PureFlex is going to sit in. If you have LPARs that are bigger than 16 cores, then you're still going to be looking at maybe 750s, 770s, and the higher end type Power 7 boxes. Versus if these are smaller environments, then you start to look at, well, I already have a Blade center, so do I continue with Blades? Do I want to do a PureFlex? That's really somewhere where we can sit down and have a conversation about what's going to be the best use. You know, do you want something that's fully integrated? Is that something that's of use to you? So when we look at actually positioning it, what we're really looking at is, are you one of the companies that likes to scale out horizontally? Do you want to scale vertically, or do you want something that's in the middle? And when we're talking about something that's in the middle, it's typically going to be PureFlex, where you have the option of doing a certain amount of both, you know, depending on the size of the node that you choose to put in. The P460 is a 32-core node, so that compares nicely in terms of performance and everything else with a Power 750. And of course, you have the ability to add a lot more nodes that can communicate with it. So There's a lot of opportunities for transition and expansion here, and IBM has already stated that PureFlex is not the death of blades. In fact, I was at a presentation the other day where one of the leaders said that they expect blades to still be around until probably 2017. So if you've got blades or you've got lower-end servers, don't assume that PureFlex is going to be the death of those servers. What PureFlex is about is another alternative where you can now have everything integrated and managed. And by the way, that PureFlex Systems Manager can manage all the nodes and all 4 chassis within a rack. And there's up to 4 chassis per rack, so that's a nice single pane of glass. All right, so we asked the question at the beginning, how do we get from A to B? And, obviously the answer is IBM Expert Systems and particularly the PureFlex systems. So just on the last thing, I've put in here the email addresses for Andy, myself, and Jeremy. If you'd like me to send you a copy of the slides and also the link for the recording, please just drop me an email. I do have the registration list, but I noticed on the participant list the names that were on the registration list. So I'd be more than happy to send you a PDF of the slides, and any one of the 3 of us would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have.